raise it up, why? Raise it up, raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up, hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up, raise it up, why? Raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. West side, raise it up. Raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. The west side, raise it up. Raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up. Hey loves, hey loves, hey loves. My name is Wyann. I also go by Y. Anytime you hear or see me live on YouTube, you are clearly on my podcast. I'm sorry, guys. If you aren't a part of Love Culture, you don't realize that I have two mainstay spiels, and I have a habit of sometimes giving you guys the wrong one here. So, my name is Wyann. I also go by Y, and this is another incredible episode of Raise It Up Y, the podcast. We are coming at you the last Thursday in the month of May, year 2024. In an episode we are calling It's Just Big Me. Oh yes and oh yes, it's just big me, nigga, boom. For everyone who came here for the G-rated version of this show, you won't find it. We do no diet hip hop per the request of Dr. Dre here. Shouts out to Nobody Jones right at the top of this, because y'all see what I'm repping. It's LA native right here, right at the top. I just needed to be known where we're at. If you haven't learned from the title, if you haven't learned from what I'm wearing, this is going to be a part 2 of the beef recap that started in episode 69, my birthday episode. And how funny is that? A 69 guy. Hey, run for your life. Okay, for everybody who's confused, you might not be so familiar with hip hop and hip hop culture, which is probably why you tune in here. So my sister Wendy and everyone else, no, look, I'm on one tonight. I'm my bad. Because I know she's listening to these to catch up on the beef. So, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm still in my intro of this thing. Raise It Up Y is where OGs kick game to real ones only. OGs are original guides, Guides, original guides, and real ones are people who live authentically. OGs are the educators of my space, and real ones are the students here. You know what I'm saying? Raise It Up Y is where also we raise up your self-awareness, your vibration, and your capacity for love, which is knowledge. Knowledge and that capacity for love expansion is what we're focusing on here in 2024 on this podcast. And if you are a supporter of this podcast, you are a member of what's called Love Culture. And shouts out to all the loves right out the bat. I'm just here to say that we are lifting all of your vibrations and helping you love, live, and learn from positive vibrations within West Coast hip hop all the way to the entire globe. And I don't want to sound so biased as I know I look and sound today, given my set, given my shirt, given the beef and the name of the episode, but I think this will all be explained in the break it down portion of this episode. We have a real opportunity to learn some things about not only hip hop culture, but ourselves. And we can just go ahead and get right into this episode. Thank you for your non-refundable time and energy, for tuning in, for just clicking on this place, on this space, and coming into our world. We appreciate having you here. If you are a love listener, thank you, because faith comes by way of hearing, and you can't unhear a thing in this life. If you are a love onlooker on YouTube, thank you so much for your eyesight gift being used on this wonderful set that at Cup of Sue, Cupofsue, one of my angels was able to come and make very pretty for me. Another teammate of Team Y, Boomer, did it at BOOMERDIDIT, is behind the camera back there. So we're all just having a ball today, especially with the topic at hand. Let's get into it. For anybody who doesn't know, I am an edutainer, a therapeutic edutainer. That is a person who deals in therapy as well as who educates and entertains. And because of that, I like to bring some of those practices and modalities into this very entertainment filled, but educationally filled space. So I'm going to ground us into this episode. First thing we're doing. Grounding is where we make sure that we are here with ourselves. We have to make sure that we bring us where we go. Sometimes we do this naturally. And sometimes when there's a lot going on in life, whenever you might listen to this, you could be driving. There's not the most focus in driving because you're having to gauge for a whole lot of things in your environment right now. If you are working out, you are kind of walking and chewing bubblegum. You're doing two things at once. Grounding might not be so easily affordable because there's a lot going on. However, if you're home and you're watching this on your big screen, like I see the Love Culture Street Team commissioners sometimes do at KeenaBina143, much love. If you're one of those types of loves and you're just watching this and you're really here, yeah, grounding might be a little easier for you. So whatever your circumstance, just know we're going to come to this space and make sure that you are taking a moment to be here with me. I want you to hear my voice and feel your feet. And just to be sure that you're doing that, go ahead and wiggle your toes. I just got my toes done, so they feel so great. Bring your awareness up through your body and touch your nose. It's not deep. It's just you're being silly because you can. You're appreciating the fact that you are here. All right. Breathe a breath in. Blow a breath out. Do that again. In through your nose. And out through your mouth. Just take a moment. Own this. What is this? It's a miracle called life. That you're breathing, you are winning just because you are living this life. Just by spending this time with my voice right now, you're investing into your betterment. And I'd like you to sit with that and feel proud. And let's go up. We're getting into a break it down. Straight up, let's get right into it. Break it down is where we uncover the already existing genius in hip hop culture. I am not bringing this up because we are having such a fun time in hip hop culture. This podcast was started in January 2019. We're in our 6th year of going strong, and we 100% have always entailed a segment called Break It Down with the purpose of uncovering the already existing genius in hip hop. I'm starting here because, like I said, my beautiful sister at I Am Wendy with an I is 100% only learning about this beef through this podcast. And I think my dad and my sister, Whitney, the mother of my niece and about to be nephew by the time this comes out probably, they're all learning about this through this podcast because they're like, I'm not going to listen to all this. I don't have time to listen to all of the notes on and all the songs and things. So just give us the cliff notes that we would appreciate. And I say that because this episode is called It's Just Big Me. And yes, that's one of the most pivotal lines of this entire beef, from the Like That verse that Kendrick Lamar spit, that kind of kicked all of this stuff off in 2024 at the very least. And in more ways than one, that's true. Episode 69, birthday recap, we talked about how many times I had been teaching right before my birthday. I taught at will.i.am's creative space. I taught at USC. I taught at John C. Smith, HBCU in North Carolina. And each of these talks that I gave right before my birthday, which was April 13th, they all revolved around this beef, because that's when it started brewing. And what we were doing on all of these prestigious campuses, we were talking about this hip hop culture, this hip hop space, through the players of Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick, who soon after would become Drake and Kendrick. We were talking about them in a sense of my expertise, which is self-awareness, learning self, looking at oneself, and saying, while you think this is about a guy named Kendrick Lamar or another guy named Drake, what you're failing to recognize is the very undisputable truth. We don't live life separate from our personal experience. We only experience everything in life from the one lens we're privy to, which is our own. My boy Boomer is sitting right behind that camera. I am not responsible for what Boomer sees. Hell, in this one physical moment, Boomer can see me. I can see Boomer. We literally don't have the same vantage point. In this life right now, we're in the same room with one another. We work on the same sorts of projects. We're both yarders, both part of this particular team here. There is no way Wyann can see or live through the lens of Boomer did it. And there's no way that Boomer can live through the lens of Wyann Vaughn. So that's a very physical way to make you all aware of what I'm talking about. Now bring that same psychology to this rap beef. You don't know Kendrick Lamar personally, J. Cole personally, or Drake personally. And even if you do, you're not them. Most of us know their brands and not the men behind the monikers. By way of that, I'm just setting y'all up as I just quickly recap this second half of the beef. I want you guys to see that it is not about the big three. It is about the big me. And when I say me, I'm talking about you, the individual. We all went through one of the most unique rap beefs we've ever seen in hip hop history, over about to be 51 years. And 1000%, what we recognized in this beef will always tell anyone more about the individual than it will about the entire thing that all of us saw, witnessed, experienced, and listened to together. All right, so I'm starting with the thesis. That is where I'm going to conclude. I'm doing like my Dave Chappelle. He said, I'm going to give you the punchline, and then I'm going to tell you the joke, and you're still going to laugh. So I already gave you the punchline. It's about big you, big me, big individual that's listening. All right, cool. So when we taped this pod, my birthday had just passed, and my birthday was special because that's the day that we got push-ups, and that's from Drake. Rap dissing Kendrick Lamar after he came off tour in response to the Like That record, which was a response to first person shooter. Again, I'm only taking this beef from first person shooter on down. For all the people who are not so familiar with this hip hop space or anything like that, just know we are only starting from a 2023 release of Drake's called For All the Dogs or For All My Dogs. What is it, Boom? For All the Dogs? I think so. For all the Dogs, and a song that featured J. Cole and Drake called First Person Shooter. For All the Dogs. Thank you very much. Yeah, so again, that was all recapped in episode 69. If you want to know anything that happened before my birthday, go to that episode. What we're going to discuss right now is we got some responses from Kendrick. And when I say some, we got some haymakers. I just got to let you guys know. We got haymakers, ladies and gentlemen. But let me say this first. Here's where an unexpected turn of events occurred. Drake, after I taped episode 69, put out a second diss track. Apparently, since his 15 or 16 beef with Meek Mill, there's this trend in rap now where we try to quote unquote back to back someone. Which is, I'm not just going to put diss record for diss record out to get the better of you. If you don't respond in a short amount of time, I'm going to put out another diss record to even show like, wait, what you doing? What's taking so long? You really wanted this beef. What's taking so long? So the actual quote in the real song Back to Back, which is from either 15 or 16, when there was a beef between Drake and Meek Mill, I think one of the first lines was, I waited 4 days, nigga, where y'all at? Like that. What Ice on the Joe Budden podcast says started a time clock for responses in beef. Some people subscribe to that time clock, other people don't. So it's up to you what you think about that time clock. But it's a newer phenomenon in beef where Drake started this back-to-back theory, right? So in an attempt to back-to-back Kendrick, he puts out tailor-made freestyle. And in this tailor-made freestyle, your great friend, Aubrey Drake Graham, decided to use AI because there were rumors that Push-Ups was an AI track that somebody just said, oh, okay, enough of that is good. So I'll keep like 80% of it, write about 20% around it as Drake, and then we'll keep it cracking. And if you don't know that, the song Push-Ups, the first diss track from Drake in this recent beef, has 3 writers on it. Just so you know, it is not all written by Drake. There are 3 writers on it. So then Tailor Made comes out, never put out officially because there was my ice machine. There was a track that was not AI made, but I jokingly say that the track, while it was a good West Coast knockoff, it was the AI version of my brother Focus 3 Dots and the Aftermath sound, which is why if you're looking on YouTube right now, over my right shoulder, which probably looks like you all's left, you see the picture of not only Kendrick, but Dre standing behind him. Aftermath gets the last laugh. That has so many more meanings now. So you hear this Focus 3 Dot / Aftermath knockoff beat, which was actually good enough. And the first thing I hear is Tupac's voice come on. I think if I'm not mistaken, it said, Kendrick, we need you. The West Coast savior. And this is Drake AIing himself in a Tupac filter because I guess this was like his way to troll the rumors about the Push-Ups record having been an AI rumored track. Not only that, also what happened after we taped, there were several rappers that did AI Kendrick response records to push-ups. One of them happens to be a Love, respect to Psy the rapper, our 23-year-old Love, who got an actual response out of Drake when people didn't realize it wasn't really Kendrick. And he actually came out and cleared it up, and the internet all but tried to, massacre this dude behind him taking an opportune time to gain some exposure. And he got more followers, and bro really can rap. He's a young man, but he rap real well because you have to rap somewhat well if someone thought you actually were Kendrick. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. That's a whole different podcast. My point is there was a lot of AI stuff going on. So I think this tailor-made freestyle diss track, the second that came out before we could get one response from Kendrick, was a way to troll those rumors. And the song features 3 verses. The first is from Tupac. The second is from Snoop, both AI. And then the third is Drake tagging himself in. Yeah, Unc, talking to himself as Snoop, by the way. Yeah, Unc, I was the same thing. Like whatever he said, coming in. And I had to talk with a few people, and I said, oh, this isn't good because he just enacted the coast. Boomer is royalty in West Coast hip hop, an heir to our big throne. And I don't think I ever asked you about that, but I feel like that was the moment that the entire West Coast woke up. And we haven't talked about this, but I'm just saying, I remember telling, I think Onet, but Onet don't know rap like that. You know what I'm saying? But I said, I think he woke up the coast. And so that's why I put a post up, unless you talk about power, yeah, I got a lot of it. I'm the only nigga next to Snoop that can push the button. Had the coast on standby. K-Dot, what up? I heard they opened up Pandora. So this is what? I've been A1 since day one. You niggas boo-boo. So hood politics off of To Pimp a Butterfly. And I'm laughing because going back to the 7-minute drill, which is no longer on streaming, the one diss record that came out from Cold, which he apologized for 48 hours later. People take jabs at To Pimp a Butterfly. Some rappers and people in the hip hop community take jabs at To Pimp a Butterfly. And there were so many things on that album that say you probably shouldn't bother this young man named Kendrick Lamar. I promise you, like, I'm putting it out there. Like, there were so many Easter eggs that say, there's only a few of us that wake up the coast. Kendrick is one of them. Again, if you listen to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, the song that you and I both like, Boomer, Savior. The cat is out the bag. I am not your savior. He makes a whole little trolling intro to the song. Like, I don't know who you thought I was, but I am not your savior. I'm not the morality police for hip hop. I am not the West Coast savior. I am not anyone's savior. I am a man who is figuring this shit out myself. And I don't think that was well heard. It wasn't. So to play on two of America's most wanted, ain't nothing but a gangster party, and actually have Pac and Snoop, AI, artificially intelligently represented on a diss track to Kendrick Lamar after one of his big things is like, hey, don't put me in this kind of a position. I just think that, one, you poked the bear already, who is Kendrick Lamar. And two, all of these resting bitch face West Coast rapper, producers, influencers, podcasters, a whole bunch of people woke up when you mention our greats. And I don't think Aubrey recognized that one move, that one trolling move would make that big of a splash over here on the West. But yet, and here we are, and it did. So that got taken down by the Tupac estate. A a move that Drake will later say, Kendrick, you begged the Tupac estate to make me take that down. And it's like, no, you just can't play with the Tupac estate like that. It's like thinking you can play with the Marvin Gaye estate. They don't really play around like that. And if anybody knows about how the Tupac movie actually came to be, you'll know you don't play with the Tupac estate. Again, that's a if you know, you know. Most West Coast people in the know have language for what I just said. And if you don't, then you clearly aren't one of the ones I'm talking about, respectfully. So, first person shooter, like that. Kendrick won that. Next round, we have push-ups and tailor-made freestyle, where Drake basically says, Kendrick, you're not dropping because Taylor Swift is about to come out. And I know that Like That has been number one on the charts, but you know, everybody got to move when Taylor Swift come out. And I know that you moving because, you know, you're not moving because you don't want to have to deal with Taylor Swift. I know what it is. So next thing you know, a song by Kendrick called Euphoria and a second song by Kendrick called 616 in Los Angeles come out. So both gentlemen release 2 diss records apiece. In my head, Kendrick clears 3-0. Like That beats First Person Shooter. Euphoria beats Push-Ups. 616 in LA beats Tailor Made. And what the cutest part about Tailor Made was all that shit talking on Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift indeed did come out. She sold over 1 million on her first day and about over 2 million in her first week. It's so remarkable when you're good with people. The 616 in LA beat was co-produced by Taylor Swift's in-house producer because they're good with Kendrick. So as much as you attempted to taunt him with Taylor Swift, Kendrick showed like, oh no, that's buddy. That's my folks. And that's the only one of these diss tracks that's not released on DSPs. It had an Al Green sample in the back that who knows if they could clear it. But that was like intensely amazing. Okay. So in each of these songs, certain mudslinging is happening. But the one big theme that we keep seeing recur in Kendrick's words to Drake is, don't tell a lie about me. I won't tell the truth about you. First time we heard that was The Heart Part 4 back in 2017. Don't tell a lie about me. I won't tell the truth about you. Don't tell a lie on me. I won't tell the truth about you. 30 years later, it sounded like the same kind of a flow that he did on the beginning of 616 in LA. You notice that? Sunseeker, something about the sun. Yeah. Off-White Sunseeker. Who did? If you hear that, I just heard that right now. Actually, whoa, that's kind of crazy. No, that's his shit. That's completely his shit. But I just realized those sound sort of alike. But okay, cool. Kendrick basically says, "Hey, yo, respectfully, you can do all the stuff that you want in the 6-minute 34-second Euphoria." Which is the fastest 6 minutes and 34 seconds if you listen to the song, especially if you're working out. He says, you know what? This is just a friendly fade and we can keep it that way. I know some shit about niggas that make Gunna want to look like a saint. Like, I really think, and if you don't know who Gunna is, that would be a whole nother, I'm doing this like I'm explaining it to my sister. You would have to have another talk with me and we'll figure out who Gunna is together. But the idea is, I don't even want to reveal all that I know because it's not going to be pretty. Everything that Kendrick didn't want to say ended up being said because Drake drops a diss track called Family Matters. And now this is all Friday, May 3rd, 6:16 a.m. West Coast time. The first song drops, which is the Kendrick co-produced by Taylor Swift person music that comes out. And it's amazing. Mind you, 616 in LA is a way of like kind of jeering at Drake because he usually names some of his most impactful kind of like outros and interludes a timestamp and a city. All right, cool. By about 8 p.m., I can tell you when, 8:34, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what's up with these 34s. I could be wrong about that. I don't believe I am. But it's about 8:30 that he releases this track called Family Matters. And he had a video already queued up to it. This is a song where he is rapping his ass off and throwing a bunch of dirt on Kendrick's family. Remember, don't tell a lie about me. I won't tell the truth about you. Going back to the introduction of Euphoria, which is this lovely Teddy P sample with some dope beat under it. What is the makings of you? Doom, doom, doom.
No, that's my greatest inspiration.
There you go. My greatest inspiration. That's what I was saying. You're my greatest inspiration.
Right there in itself was like,
I thought that was a G move.
when I first played that, my itching goes.
Oh, no. He bad as fuck. So he starts, those superpowers get neutralized. I can only watch in silence. But the idea is, he says in there, he says, why calculate? You're not even calculated. I can even predict your angle. You're going to start saying some things about my family because you heard Mr. Morale and you don't even understand that what you're going to say is going to rile me up enough to make me tell the truth about you. I am trying to let you know this is not what you want. And the last line of Euphoria, psst, that's something you don't want to do. You do not want to wake this demon up that's happening. Well, Drake and his ego said, nigga, fuck that. He didn't really say that, but basically he did. And Family Matters drops at 8:30, around 8. It's 8:20 something at night on Friday, May 3rd. 37 minutes later, as I saw the timestamp. But mind you, I thought it was just so interesting that Kendrick, I think, is 37, Drake is 37, and I think Cole is I think they're all the same age. I think they're all 37. But what I thought was so interesting, or what I found was so interesting, is exactly 37 minutes later, so let's say 8:23, at 9 p.m. on the nose, Kendrick drops Meet the Grams, an Alchemist, eerie produced therapy session into every one of Drake's family members' lives, starting with his son, then his mom, then his dad, and then finally concluding with Drake himself, who he calls Aubrey. Hey, yo. When that dropped, one, the strategy of dropping right after Family Matters drops and literally giving no time for the Drake record to gain any momentum on a Friday night. Two, you already knew he was going to be talking about your family. You even predicted it the Tuesday before in your song Euphoria. Here comes this Friday. Apparently, Drake is still about to push the button. He even shot a video for it. Took all this time to shoot a video and everything. And 37 minutes, as timestamps, if I saw correctly on Twitter stated, here comes Kendrick with Meet the Grams. The entire beef was over at this point. Because damn. Like I say, it's a scarily sad, eerie, Jordan Peele head ass song that is actually not even dissing any member of of Drake's family, but more so saying, I'm so sorry that you know that guy named Aubrey Drake Graham. And that was to his son. He told his parents that you made a bad son. You made a bad man. I mean, I was like, wait, what? It was a bad situation. And the rapping style, the lyricism, the production, the everything, like we've never had a beef in hip hop history that has given us these many amazing songs. I'll even take it all the way back to Push Ups and go all the way to Meet the Grams. All of the songs had been at that point in time. This is the night of the 3rd of May. Amazing. And it's such a dark song, though. I can only listen to it a couple times. And I haven't listened to Meet the Grams again. Even though it's on streaming, I bought all of Kendrick's other ones. I didn't buy Meet the Grams. I didn't buy. It's too dark. It's too dark. It's too dark. It's too dark for me. And yeah, it was a wrap. I think I went live. I opened a Love Lounge on Instagram that night, and we had about 40, 50 people in there just needing to process, like, what the whole entire shit, damn fuck just happened. And I'm like, I absolutely have no clue. Like, everybody, there was a love that one of our Venezuelan loves, one of our loves from London. I mean, like, everybody was in there. We were all online trying to figure out what we had just witnessed and what we had just experienced, and none of us could understand it. So everyone was like, wow, Kendrick's the victor. It's a wrap. It's done. Wow, it's done. 4 p.m. Saturday. 4 p.m. Saturday. And I gotta say, at DJ Head, H-E-D, on his Instagram, he went live or put up a post, and he was at a party and he was banging some song. I was like, what is that? Next thing you know, Kendrick puts a link up on his Twitter. That's the only time we're even seeing Kendrick online. He puts up another link. A song called Not Like Us is available on his YouTube. Mustard on the beat, ho. DJ Mustard and Kendrick would make history and didn't even know it at that time. I have the privilege of hindsight, which is 2020, so I can tell you guys there is history that was made by way of them putting out this particular song at about 4 p.m. on the 4th of May. Let me tell you guys something. This song is like a West Coast summertime anthem. If Drake wasn't already cooked, this was garnish plus dessert. And they poured him nigga a glass of wine. They called his Uber. They gave him a hand job in the back. Like, this shit is a rap. Like, there's no, like, Not Like Us coming out after Meet the Grams. There is, and if you listen to the record, bro is still saying, and I can keep going. How many do I got in stock? Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. I got 10 more records for you. I only pushed out these 3. I am trying to let you know this can get spooky for you. He calls himself the boogeyman. Keep fucking around with me, is all I'm saying. And by Cinco de Mayo, the song was available for purchase. And the entire, not just West Coast, like I thought it would do, the entire, when I say world, the entire world has now consumed Not Like Us in a way they have never gravitated toward any other, not hip hop song. And I'll tell you some of those stats in a minute. And then in a poot butt effort to say something, Drake drops The Heart Part 6, which is just the way that Kendrick stole his kind of timestamp thing, 616 in LA. Kendrick's thing is the heart part, whatever he's doing. And he actually is on the Heart Part 6. And now Drake stole that momentum. He puts out the Heart Part 6. And I gotta say, he was rapping. He really was. It was a day late and a dollar short, almost for real. It was a day late and a dollar short. And that's how the conglomerate of a brand that is the biggest hip hop artist in the world, at least so far as sales and contracted like monies and things like that, Mr. Drake this is the way that his cookie crumbled in the last few weeks. And I left out the details of all that because to get into the breakdowns of all these songs, this pod would be way too long. And I just believe at this point, there are so many other amazing platforms that have done it. My favorite being the Joe Budden podcast, at the Joe Budden podcast. Just literally say it. If you don't know what that is, I feel sorry for you, but it's that episode should be out on YouTube and not just Patreon. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to know there has been no display of lyricism, of song selection, beats, everything that we saw in this particular rap beef. There has never been something like this in history, ever. Not Jay-Z and Nas, not Biggie and Tupac, not any, whatever you think, because some people are coming out now and it's like, oh, well, this wasn't this and that. It's like, yeah, and that wasn't this. It just wasn't. Like, any old head trying to say that this wasn't fill in the blank, you're wrong. Respectfully, this was very unique. We probably will never see something like this again, not the exact same way. And if we do, it will not be for a very long time. Like, trust me on that when I say it. And here, 30 minutes into just explaining this beef, I want to make sure what the takeaway from it is still comes back to where everybody sat and how they experienced this beef said more about them than Drake or Kendrick. I'll give you an example. Questlove from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, goes on to create a post saying, nobody won, hip hop is truly dead, because of the context of the lyrics. Now, mind you, I said a masterful display of lyricism and the utilization of the English language at the word of rap, like what rap is, which is poetry to beats. The usage of entendres and similes, metaphors, synecdoches, homonyms, synonyms, just lyrical display. As a writer and an author and a songwriter, I am telling you, there has been nothing on earth like what we've experienced. I'm a songwriter. I'm an author. I'm a poet. I'm a speaker. Hearing hip hop be emphasized at what's being said again, I'm in heaven. Heaven, I'm in heaven. Like, you can't tell me nothing, because for so long, people have just been concerned about the beats. Questlove, from the city of brotherly love, heralds from a group that talks about Black political advancement with one of the most amazing lyricists of our time named Black Thought, who now has an honorary doctorate degree. So congratulations to Black Thought. Black Thought can freestyle. Black Thought can sing. Black Thought can rap his motherfucking black ass off. This has been one of the longest friends of a Questlove. Questlove is also my friend. He is a hip hop historian. He is an amazing Aquarius. First day of Aquarius. First birthday is my good friend, Amir, aka Questlove. Where he sits in hip hop, he sees this beef not in a positive way. He's not looking at the lyricism. He's not looking at the quality of songs that are being made. He's looking at what this is doing to Black culture, what this will look like in retrospect, because he is a historian. And I think he's looking at it from the lens that only he can. All right, switch pages. I definitely saw something that said that Stevie Wonder, who is not a member of rap being or rap culture. He had a disparaging review of this rap beef. And from where I sit, I say, what did you want Stevie Wonder to say about a culture he's not a part of? What do you want from him in this moment? I saw an old head. I won't say this person's name because I try to only talk about people when it can either be taken objectively or positively. This old head, I'll tell you who it was later, boom, remarked on the beef and said something disparaging. But what I also know is I can't tell you the last time this person has been in news ever. So what you start to see is people who've not gotten attention in quite some time are hopping out the fucking window to say the fuck anything because, hey, now I can be seen. It's not about Drake. It's not about rap. It's not about Ken. It's not about Cole. It's about them. Now, the most important people who experience this beef, the fans, you, folks listening. If somebody sent this to you, this is the part they wanted you to hear. We all experienced this epic rap battle in the fashion that we either appreciate or attempt to even understand rap and its culture. When I talk about appreciation, I'm going to tell you something I've been saying consistently from USC's campus to Love Lounges on Instagram with Love Culture. My good friend, Ninth Wonder, is an edutainer. He's also a hip hop historian and just a historian in general. Ninth has taught everywhere from Harvard to Duke University and a few HBCUs. He did not have the same surmising of this rap beef that someone like Questlove did, because they're two separate humans. Both edutainers, both men that I look up to in this edutainment space, educator plus entertainment. But they are completely different men. So they're, of course, going to give different recaps to this whole thing. And I bring up Ninth Wonder because I know Ninth was a part of a group called Little Brother. Drake is on record saying that one of the group mates of Ninth's named Fonte, who also is currently a part of Little Brother, is who basically Drake originally patterned himself after. There's videos of Drake and Ninth from 2009 back early on. I also know that Ninth produced the final song on the Pulitzer Prize winning project of Kendrick Lamar's called Damn, not to mention his artist at the time, Rapsody, on To Pimp a Butterfly, was showcased to the world on a massive level by this same artist named Kendrick Lamar. The way that Ninth Wonder talks about this historic rap beef is going to be completely different because his life was touched historically in a completely different way by this guy named Kendrick Lamar than Drake. And Drake went on to be the biggest hip hop superstar. So there's no way that you could say he wasn't also really proud of the young man that he helped influence in his early development and what became of the spawn of Little Brother in Drake, right? Ladies and gentlemen, you as the fan at home, you were watching this. What I can tell you about Ninth Wonder and I is the college campuses we have the privilege of serving often have a class called music appreciation. It is a real collegiate course. And what I've been telling folks lately is to appreciate music is not intrinsic. Basically, everybody who can hear music, everybody with the gift of hearing and who has ears, just because you can hear it doesn't mean you actually know how to appreciate it. Why the hell would it be taught at universities, not colleges, universities across the country, if everyone could osmosisly, just from hearing music, also know what it means to appreciate it? That's one. Because you don't see breathing 101 at Harvard and USC. You don't see heart beating 101 at these places. That's intrinsic. That's going to happen regardless as long as you're alive. However, appreciating music has to be taught. So what I want everyone listening now to hear is, just because you heard the songs in this rap battle doesn't mean that you have the know-how to understand and or appreciate what all you heard. Did y'all hear Boomer a moment ago when he said, oh, when I heard the Teddy Pendergrass underneath Euphoria, that was the first time I said, oh, this is about to get interesting. He's great. This is great. Joe Budden ironically said the same thing. I know other people who know music who, when they heard that part, they said, this is a great intro as he's setting up what's about to be a power punch. What I heard from random hip hop fans on Twitter/X. This shit boring. Oh, Drake won. What's this corny bullshit in the beginning here? So appreciation isn't intrinsic. You have to learn it. That's why it's taught at not colleges, not community colleges, not high schools, universities across the country, including Harvard and USC. That's one. Two, the second point is, just because you can appreciate or hear music doesn't mean that you always understand everything that goes into it. One of the pillars of hip hop, the fifth pillar now of hip hop, is called knowledge. If you don't have a mastery of the English language, especially where poetry is concerned, there's two types of writing, prose and poetry. Prose is everything that's not poetry. A letter, a post on Instagram, a complaint on Yelp. That's all prose. Books, prose. Poetry is poetry. We hear it either as itself, which is poetry, to a beat as we're talking, which is called rapping, or with a melody, which is called singing. Most people do not know how to decode. Most people don't understand the literary tools and the usages of this thing called poetry. My sister in the back of this house right now was a English teacher as long as I've been a math teacher. Everybody that takes English, or any of my listeners that teach English, please just comment how your students do in all areas of your English courses, and then remark how they do in poetry. Most people fucking suck at poetry. Says the poet, says the person who always got advanced placement for English, high standards for English. I am telling you, poetry is like English with Tetris in it. It is not just regular to know how to use the English language in a coded way. Not coded, C-O-A-T-E-D, coded, C-O-D-E-D. People don't understand how to decode most of poetry, from Robert Frost to Maya to fucking Boomer Did It. Most of you aren't privy to all of the tools with all of the knowledge of the words. I bring that up to say, in addition to you not knowing how to appreciate most of the music that you heard during this beef, most of us also don't even understand half of the nuances. Everyone heard the P word that Kendrick was calling Drake. Everyone heard the DV that Drake was mudslinging onto Kendrick. You attached and gravitated onto the few concepts that you understood. What I'm telling you is there were so many more things being said. Musically, with samples, the back-to-back with Al Green and Teddy Pendergrass from Kendrick, and the back-to-back actual CD that exists that has Teddy Pendergrass and Al Green on it. I don't know if you've seen that. There were so many back-to-back. What do you say? Back-to-back. I like that record. I'm going to get back to that for the record. Set you up and delivered, and people didn't see it. So my point is, all of that is just keeping it on the art form. What I also want you to hear is, I asked this on episode 69. What does Drake represent to you? What does Kendrick represent to you? Because what those men, their brands represent is going to tell why you are partial to one over the other. This entire time, Boomer and I have been talking about this. We still appreciate J. Cole. We still appreciate Drake. We still appreciate Kendrick. For some people, Cole was pussy the moment he apologized. And I loved seeing some of the think pieces about that, saying some of y'all got a problem with Cole apologizing because y'all don't apologize in your real lives. And that's not incorrect. That's absolutely right. Listening back to the Joe Budden podcast, do an amazing deep dive for about 4 hours on this topic. The word that came up more than anything else regarding Drake was arrogant. That was arrogance. I think he didn't take the battle seriously because he knew he would win. His ego, arrogance. Guess what? Some of y'all look at Drake, you see a light-skinned, attractive man, and you see he has a lot of money, he gets bitches, and he lives in nice houses and he has nice cars. And you want that for you. So when you don't want a Drake to lose in this battle, it's because you are holding on to the idea of that within you. Someone personally attacking Drake's money is an attack on your little ducats. You don't think of it that way, and that's fine. You don't have to, because behavior doesn't know how to lie. I don't need your agreeance the same way we don't need to agree on the sun hurting us to catch a sunburn if we stand outside too long. We don't got to agree. We don't even have to believe in it. Stand outside with no sun protection on for a few days. You won't just get burned. You'll get sun cancer. You'll get skin cancer, excuse me. A lot of the big stuff that happens in life doesn't need your agreement for it to be. So I want you to make sure you realize when the Kendrick-Drake beef battle goes in history, you have to see where your arrogance gets triggered when someone seeks to dethrone what your image of ego winning, bitches, money, hoes, clothes, whatever it is in this dude named Aubrey Graham. Because that's telling on you. And thirdly, Kendrick. Kendrick for you might represent the guy that tries to free the slaves. Boy, that aged so poorly for poor Drake. But, oh, he the nigga that's always trying to school me. Nigga, I ain't trying to hear that. I'm trying to get bitches. You don't even be in the strip club. Kendrick might represent for you the education you never thought you needed. Kendrick might represent to and for you a person in a club that you're not able to get in. like being from the West, like being American, like having a sense of culture that you can't buy. They run to America to imitate heritage. They can't imitate this violence. What I learned is niggas don't like the West Coast, and I'm fine with it. I'll push the line with it. And his biggest song, Not Like Us, which is just not his biggest song, it is the fastest growing, biggest song with over 1 million streams in the US alone that has toppled Taylor Swift, Cardi and Meg, every Drake song, and any other song in life. Think of a song, and this Not Like Us has outperformed it in just coming up on a couple weeks of its existence. I'll leave you all in this break it down with this. I remember going to that USC class and I asked them, what does J. Cole represent to you if you had to do word association? They said wholesome. I said, this is before he bowed out of the beef, by the way. I said, what does Drake represent to you? The USC class that I made sure was not a completely West Coast class. The minority in the class was Black people. There was a lot of different nationalities and ethnicities represented. And everybody agreed that what they got when they saw Drake was corny. I can't make this up. This is a room of 20-year-olds. I asked what the average age of everybody in the room was. 20-year-olds. That's supposed to be Drake's demo, by the way. You know that, right? It's not Kendrick's. Like, what is it, the braids? No, I'm fucking with you. And when I asked what word do they associate with Kendrick Lamar, there were 2 words that came back. Depth and realness. And I said, I wonder if I'm being partial because I'm on USC's campus. USC is one of the most prestigious spaces for education in Southern California. It is the University of Southern California, or if you're from LA, it's the University of South Central. But I went on to ask younger people in high schools, middle schools, and community colleges around the US and saw the same trend. I can tell you how someone presents, what their brand looks like, and how you affect the listener. 2 different things. They are 2 different things. And Not Like Us plus Euphoria have now gone on to be the number 1, number 3, and even like that is the number 6 song in the top 10 Billboard. And all of these songs, once you see this, have been out for weeks and weeks. This is over Beyonce putting out Cowboy Carter. This is over, Like That went back to number 1 even after Taylor Swift came out. And Not Like Us has been at number 1. Kendrick Lamar has 3 top 10 Billboard singles right now. And there's almost no other artist, not hip hop or rap artist. There's almost no other artist that has achieved what this man has been achieving. Please check yourself. This battle was about ego versus self. Arrogance is a product of ego. Ignorance is a product of ego, especially willful ignorance, like not studying your opponent to really show up, Drake, respectfully. You either think so little or you didn't think enough. One out of the 2 when you show up for this beef. This also was about art versus commercialism. I've seen so many people go back and say, this made me go back to listen to all of Kendrick's music because I didn't maybe recognize it before. And 42% extra streams on Kendrick's side, -6% streams on Drake's side. Another thing this is revealing about you, faithful listener. Sometimes you don't want to be called a sheep, but boy, some of y'all really go with the herd. Some of y'all don't want to think that you are sheep, but boy, let enough people say something is bomb, you'll call it bomb. I saw one person tweet, "I'm so happy now when I tell people I like Kendrick, no one asks why." It's like now you get it too. I'm like, I live on the West Coast, so I don't have that problem personally. But and from what we talked about in the studio the other day, you say there's some people out here that be like, "Nah, Kendrick ain't fill in the blank, fill in the blank." I'm like, I'm happy I only hang out with dope people. Am I biased? Yes. Do I care? No. But that's also a product of who I am with or without these cameras being on. That's who Wyann is in her journal. That's who Wyann is when looking for a job. That's who Wyann is. And if you don't know who that is for yourself, then much like the final line of Meet the Grams, where Kendrick tells Drake, "You think this is a rap battle against me. However, this is really just you against yourself." And for a lot of these listeners, for a lot of you beautiful people, a lot of what you're doing in this life is not about any other individual. It all is coming back to you. Hence, motherfuck, the big three. All of this is just about big me, aka you. And that finally concludes the Break It Down segment. We're going straight in to Raise 'Em Up. My beautiful sister, Rapsody, put out her album, her 4th studio album, Please Don't Cry. #rap is back. #PDC. Wait, please don't. Yeah, PDC. Dyslexia. Anyways, yes, and I'm telling you all, I am so appreciative that my sister is back out in this space. It's such a good time for her to be out in this space. The Raise 'Em Up portion of my podcast is where I get to educate and entertain. And I do that pretty much all throughout, but especially in this segment. And I'm doing that in a break it down kind of a way where I usually take a hip hop song and uncover some genius within the lyrics. Instead, this last time I just did that, breaking down that entire beef and making it relate back to you and why it's so important. For my sister Rapsody, she was on Joe Budden's pod, a Patreon episode that I do think is on YouTube now. It should be. And they were speaking about my sister's heart. And it's funny because me and Rapsody talk about guys and all this, like sisters. Like we just talk like intimate shit. And so to see someone ask her about herself publicly and her dating and stuff publicly, I kind of gasped because I'm like, hey guys, don't impede, don't intrude on my sis. But the entire point of Rapsody's 4th studio album called Please Don't Cry is that she's opening herself up to be more of an open book. Vulnerability, allowing her fans and everyone who loves her in. And I love that for all of you, because you guys get to see so much more of the beautiful Marlena Evans that I get to know. And hey, yo, there is one song that Joe asked her about on his pod and said, how, like, what song is like, will your ex, somebody that you really, were involved with and you had feelings for, what song would we know that's happening on the album? And Rap said That One Time. I listened to That One Time, y'all. If you haven't listened, I highly suggest that you do, because you get to learn about the intimate details of this woman who we know as a dope lyricist. A lot of y'all first heard on To Pimp a Butterfly's Complexion. Y'all got to hear her just, pop out and show niggas. Oh, my bad. Y'all got to hear her really do her thing on Eve and really big up the Black woman throughout the pandemic. She had a song called 12 and got political and got to get those bars off and really rap in some dope ways that we had never heard her do. This getting to that, you guys know some of what I know about her dating history now is I don't know. I don't even know how I feel about it. Like I still feel like I'm supposed to protect her. So I'm like looking at the words and I want to read them and then I'm like, I don't want to. I just don't feel like I want to. Please go listen to that one time because my sister's rapping her ass off and she's really giving y'all some of her self. But it makes me think about a conversation I had with her and I've had with a lot of you loves where relationship and love is concerned. And what I'll say is this. She and I had a conversation at the top of maybe 2022 or 2023. I think it was 2022. And I asked my sister, we were with Ruben Vincent and Young Guru and Aunt Clemens. And they were all recording for Ruben's album. And I'm talking with my sis in between takes. And I looked at her and I said, sis, who's holding your heart? I couldn't have known how deep of a question that was, especially listening to this song that one time where she's showcasing what's been happening with her heart. But I know for me personally, I got to watch my sis really take the question in. And she said, wow, I got to get back to you on that. And that was all she told me. She said, wow, I have to get back to you on that. I was like, okay. Wasn't tripping. Around August in 2022, she and I had some real honest conversations that are now, a part of this album. Please Don't Cry. And what I thought was so interesting is how often all of us seemingly have to try to keep shit together when we're hurt or when we're dealing with unfathomable, maybe pain, or confusion at the heart. Sometimes not knowing who you are will not allow you to know how you love. I'll say that again. Sometimes not knowing who you are will not allow you to know how you love. How you show up in relationship is highly dependent on what is available to show up because you know that you can call it to the forefront. I think of that because at the end of this particular song, that one time, Rap is kind of just talking and she says, I think that therapeutically, they call it, releasing that child, your inner child. Another part of the album, she speaks about having to parent your own child while also taking into account your inner child. And there's nothing realer than that. that will always be the case. And as we on this podcast in the year 2024 are focusing on the third tenet of Raise It Up Why, which is expanding your capacity for love, which is knowledge, your self knowledge, but knowledge in general, but it's going to all come back to you. That's the whole point of this episode. It's really just big me. You know what I'm saying? When you understand that you and how you develop what parts of your heart you're keeping and allowing to be soft in order for other people to interact with it, you'll then realize when, where, why, and how certain people are showing up for you in their lives. You can't show up for other people in ways that you're having a challenge showing up for yourself. Consistency, integrity, faithfulness, all these themes I'm hearing on my sister's album. And for a lot of us, we have a hard time exercising, practicing consistency, faithfulness, integrity, a taming of the ego within ourselves. And because we don't know better, my girl Rapsody, my sister Yo-Yo says, if you knew better, you do better. Sometimes if you don't know, you just don't even try to do anything differently or better. And what I enjoy about this Please Don't Cry album is my sis is putting this plainly and openly on an amazing body of work for all of us to see ourselves the same way Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was like Kendrick cracking himself open so everybody could catch a glimpse of all the ways they're either being that real and open with themselves or still hiding. And if you don't know what parts of you you're hiding, listen to Please Don't Cry. Listen to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers and notice the parts that are hard for you to hear. Notice the parts that you'd be like, you want to skip through. Those are the parts of you that you're still avoiding. You know what I'm saying? Sort of like fractions, you can only add common denominators. And if you don't have a common denominator, you can't add the parts. If you're not being real with yourself in a certain area and you hear a song in that area's topic, you'll skip it because there's nothing for it to connect to within you. You're still kind of disconnected from that part of your heart, you know? You have to learn yourself to know what parts of you can share with others, all right? And if you don't know who you are, you have yet to discover how you love, for real, for real. If you want help with that, you're in the right place. Keep listening to Raise It Up Why, the podcast. Come to Love Lounge discussions on Instagram. And if you have any problems with that, of course, we always give that information at the end of every episode, but I'll just tell you kind of a shameless plug right here at RAISEITUPWY, and all the love say rockets up on these hoes. Just connect with us on social media anywhere, especially Instagram, where we're the most active. And you can 100% be in a community of people who are on this quest for love and life just like you. All right? And that gives way to the Wyann's Words of Wisdom. And what I love about this Wyann's Words of Wisdom is that it did not come from today. It actually came from a conversation with my baby sister, who is currently pregnant with my nephew and probably will be dropping in the time that this comes out. Not no probably about it. She's going to drop on the 3rd of June, my homeboy Andre Mego's birthday. Your Wyann's Words of Wisdom for episode 70. Give me discomfort now or I'll have pain later. Give me discomfort now or else I'm going to have some pain later. Discomfort in and of itself is getting out of autopilot mode, getting out of your comfort zone. I wager in your life, you get in the shower, prayerfully, y'all are getting in showers or baths, but you get in the shower, you have the same exact wash routine. You just check. And if you don't believe me, use the opposite dominant hand to wash yourself tonight or tomorrow or whenever you're listening to this. Go out of order. If you usually start at the top of you, start at the bottom of your body and work yourself up when you're washing. If you usually are partial to starting on your left side, start on your right side. Something as small and simple as that can be evidence to show you that you live a lot of your life from your subconscious. You live on autopilot most of the time. That is a comfort zone. No growth takes place there. It's just what you are accustomed to doing. Here go the fucked up part. Again, the Wyann's words of wisdom is give me discomfort or I'll have pain later. Here go the fucked up part. You do your everyday, your random, this is just how I get down. And I bet you $20 for some of us, especially A personality, go-getter kinds of types, we make money because of our autopilot. We skirt through traffic quickly because of our autopilot. Serial students graduate, go right back to school because you always keep showing how smart you are. Career students, not lifelong learners. I'm talking about career students. You are getting accolades, boosting your resume, well, your transcripts at least, and everything looks good. People on the outside are praising you from your autopilot. For my hustlers out there, I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler, homie. Out there going from your 9-to-5 grind to your 6 to 10. You got a little side business, got a little hustle. You do lashes, you do makeup, you fix cars, you valet on the weekends because you get your paper up. That's your autopilot. And it feels good because it's actually doing something well. My gym rats, your body look amazing. That might be your autopilot. Because the only thing I want us to continue to do on a big scale is live life in balance. And if you are spending 70% of your time getting money, you're already out of balance. You squeeze the entirety of the rest of your life in this 30%. And what some people are going to tell you is, yeah, but that's life when you a go-getter and da-da-da-da. I get it. Everything has a season. Don't get me wrong. I'm not crazy. I do have a master's degree. I remember when I didn't listen to music or sleep because I was grinding it out in school while working a full-time job and also touring with my mom. I get it. That was a season. That was 3 years of my life. It had an end date. I was in the pharmacy with Dr. Dre and a bunch of my homeboys. And we slept very sporadically. We basically cranked out amazing podcast / produced albums every other week for 3 years. And it was amazing. And then it had an end date because we worked our asses off. But then it had an end date. Where are you in your 70, 85% of your grind carving out time to have friends? Not just have friends, like cultivate them like a garden. Spend time with them, till the garden, uproot the weeds, like actually be present and be there, experiencing your friends. How about your family? How about yourself? How about your romantic partner? Have you just been in serial monogamous relationships and have no intention on furthering or deepening something in the commitment world so that you actually advance into a relationship you've never experienced or seen? Or is your comfort zone having a bunch of longtime boyfriends and girlfriends? In this thing, if you don't experience a disruption to that pattern, some form of discomfort, your reward is pain later. Meaning, you get to your 80s and you live a life filled with regret and despair. Meaning, you wait so long to ask that person out on a date that by the time you finally look at their Insta or check their number to just check in, you learn that they just got proposed to and they said yes. You don't put out the music because you're so fearful of what others will think and or say about it, such that by time you actually get the idea to, you don't even care about the music enough to promote and work your records. What is your thing that you will live with regret about later if you don't do something today? I'll be transparent with you. I used to do yoga because, it made me stretch. And it was positive and it was good and it's for your mind and it's for, where your heart is and you learn about yourself. La, 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 la. Let me tell you something now. This wonderful body at 42. All y'all wanting all this ass and not knowing how it's fucking with the bottom of your back. Listen, well, I don't know. Maybe fake ass is lighter. So in real life, I don't know if fake ass is light or whatever, but real ass that got the cuff and the cellulite. I've had cellulite since I was 10. Fuck you mean? I'm not here for the fuck shit. Anyways, my Pampers was thick. Hello? Okay, but no, I'm back. So the thing is this. If I don't practice yoga now, almost like a form of physical therapy, I literally can't move to get out of bed when I want to. This could just be a thing of the 40s. Could be. My doctor calls it other names that I'm not going to repeat here because fuck that shit. My body is going to be as young as I say it is. And I'm going to keep treating it that way. My dad said something years ago. He said, there was a day I looked up and realized no one's going to call for recess ever again in my adult life. You know how when you're at school, you know how when you're in high school and they have like snack and then they have like the lunch bell and then they have all those activities, the physical ones. You can play kickball, tetherball, all this extra shit. One day my dad just realized, I think he was on the road with the Brothers Johnson, and he realized no one's going to ring the bell and tell me to move my body if I don't do it myself. Boomer can tell you, a lot of you who know my dad can tell you, if I'm 42, my dad is 72 or 1. 71, let's just say. He's in his 70s is what I'm saying. They're 30 years older than me, my parents. And he hikes for 4 hours, 3 or 4 times a week. He hikes 3 or 4 hours, 3 or 4 times a week. My dad is healthy as an ox. His body thinks he's 26. If you don't believe me, he will tell you himself. He actually very well enjoys being able to tell y'all, oh yeah, my cardiologist said my blood is basically 26 years old. Your blood is, huh? Okay. I bring that up though because he takes on that discomfort. A workout is like a form of slowing down. Yoga for Wyann is a form of slowing down a life that goes fast. And I get this accomplished and that accomplished. And we go there and I make that meeting and I do this thing and I blah, 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 blah. All of that shit is nice. Just like your car can go 0 to 75 and you can go from here to San Diego and you can do all this different stuff. Don't get a tune-up though. Don't go to the gas station and fill your car up. Or make the error of missing several consecutive oil changes. That car, I don't care if it's a Rolls Royce / Bentley or a hoopty, your car will no longer function. The discomfort of the regular grind is what I mean by give me the discomfort now. Because if I don't experience that disruption, that discomfort from my regular autopilot, subconscious, even if it's making me money and getting me the right things that I need in life, if I don't do it now and experience this uncomfortability now, I will have pain as my prize later. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I don't want you to experience discomfort in the form of pain, like work out so, much and then you hurt yourself. I'm not talking about that. Live a balanced life. If you're spending 7 hours of your waking day doing one thing and you're not allowing the other few hours that you have left before you have to get back to sleep and out of traffic, if especially you're in LA or anything, if you're not gifting yourself the opportunity and the time to spend with family, with friends, with community, with self, I am guaranteeing you, not because I want to damn you, but because I work with the entire life spectrum, meaning hospice was a part of my social work program. I didn't go into it deeply, but we definitely have to hear about the despair and the regrets of people as they're realizing, oh, there's literally nothing I can do. There are more years behind me than there are in front of me. The person, the love of my life, I never told them. And I think there was a study about the individuals like on their deathbeds or in their last days and what they wished they would have done more. No one says, I wish I would have worked more. No one says, I wish I would have bought more things, driven more cars, fucked more bitches. What people end up reporting at the ends of their lives is they'd have wished they would have slowed down, appreciated more things, spent time with people who loved them, and cultivate more relationships with people who loved them. I don't preach this love culture shit to beat a dead horse or push something in your face. Trust me. I say it because I want y'all to realize all of these days on this earth aren't guaranteed. I'm talking about people in their 80s and 90s as if everybody is living to see 70. Y'all know a lot of people who aren't making it out of their 50s these days. When I tell you in the beginning of this podcast, when you're grounding yourself, wiggle your toes and touch your nose, you won't appreciate that toe wiggling until the day someone tells you, prayerfully, not you actually, but just universal you, we have to amputate one of those feet, actually. You have high blood pressure or diabetes, and we need to save the rest of you by cutting that off. If somebody told you that you appreciate your body or that's your reward, I bet you money you wouldn't think it's so weird to wiggle your toes or touch your nose. Of course, who is thinking that dire in the beginning of a podcast called Raise It Up? Why? I don't know. But I'm also going to let y'all know You practice how you play. I don't need to have a sit down for 2 hours with Drake to know that he practiced how he showed up in that beef. He overinflated his sense of, well, not his sense of self, his ego. I don't know that he sees himself. He talked a lot of crap about Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and everything in that album was what Kendrick beat him over the head with. If it wasn't in him to connect to, then that's further evidence that the self is what needs more of Drake's attention, not the charts, not the fans, not social media, not trolling, not AI, not bitches, not even his son. Drake needs Drake. Rather, Drake needs Aubrey. He needs the man to show up. And that's not exclusive to him. I'm just using that because we just saw ego versus self on the largest stage we've ever seen it. And now take all of that and bring it back down to just big me. And I'm pointing to myself if you're listening and you don't see me on Insta or wherever I'm showing this right now. It's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you. I want when these lessons come back to you, you are full, whole, well, and healthy so that you can experience discomfort in the present so that you don't have pain and regret later. And those are my Wyann's words of wisdom. And let me tell y'all something. Before I get my black ass out of here and go. Got my Nobody Jones on and I'm a alienated. Me and Boom had an inside joke at the studio last night where one of our homeboys put a very white ending on the end of a song. That has nothing to do with this pay your dues unless you want to talk about the fact that my nails are white. Okay, no, we'll get to that. Hair by Quista, I Have to Come and See You. HAIRBYQUISTA. That is my one and only hair lady here in Los Angeles. And the products that we use exclusively for all of this lovely down my back real hair is I Love the Do More Than You Knew. And what I'm using most these days is this press play thermal styling system. One of my favorite things in here is this mother effing dewdrops. It's like a finishing touch, anti-humidifier, polishing, bonding, cute, good smelling, and moisturizing. I've been putting it on my hands. I saw my cousin do that on her Instagram. She put it on her hands and then started doing somebody's hair. So now I spray it into my hands, put it all over, and then like pat down my hair just so I don't put too much of the product in. I put this hair, my cousin has all these different types of people, that these types of characters that you can be in the thermal styling system that is press play. And I and she currently are what we call straight gangsters. Whatever your heat tool is, crank that hoe directly and all the way up and put my hair in that flat iron. Wipe me down. That's what I need. I need you to straighten me, flatten me, baby. I need the heat. Get out my face. Get out my shit. Okay, so yeah, that's what I need. And tonight was no different. It's been a little bit cloudy and a little humid here in LA, even though we're mostly dry. So I've been throwing my little dewdrops in and on and doing my thug thizzle. Talk to me nice if you talk to me at all. Okay. Number 3, we went to Hair by Quista. We went to I Love the Do at ILOVETHEDOUX with the press play thermal styling system do drops that my hair look like right now, all good and shit. And then Nobody Jones Boutique at Nobody Jones. I'm not spelling that, guys. Just say it in your phone. It'll come up. All right. She's down at Afro City in the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza. For all the real ones, that's the Crenshaw Mall, right next to where the what was it? I was gonna say Fox Hills, not Fox Hills. The theater, Magic Johnson Theater. Magic Johnson Theater. If y'all know that, that's real LA shit. My shirt says LA native. Last time that I checked, no. But I wore this because sometimes you got to pop out and show niggas. Okay, that's what Kendrick taught me. City is back up. It's a must. We outside. LA, stand up. Bay, stand up. West Coast, stand up. What a time, man. What a time to be a West Coast LA native. I feel good. And my girl Odessa down at Nobody Jones Boutique is good. Please pay her a visit over at Afro City in the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza. To my pleasant surprise, there's also a very big couple other stores that I like to go to. I was going to shout them out and I'm like, no. But yeah, Nobody Jones Boutique. Just say that in your phone. I'm not going to spell it. It's all spelled correctly. And on Instagram, Nobody Jones Boutique. Number 4, Pristine Nails and Spa. Always with the beautiful nails. I got the fresh whites. TJ is so happy. Oh my gosh, I forgot to put on my ring. Not the engagement ring. The Stay Real Y'all ring. Okay. Well, we're fine. We'll be okay. But yes, at Pristine Nails and Spa, all spelled correctly. Again, say it into your phone. You'll be fine. On Instagram, find them there as well. The owner there's name is Diane. She is my Armenian sister. I love her. She loves this whole family. We've adopted her. It's a thing. This is not my first time shouting her out. I bring this up because there have been some less than savory experiences where Yelps and Google reviews and things like that are concerned at this particular location called Pristine Nails and Spa in Glendale. And it makes me feel a way to see some of the negative comments that were said about this facility because they do excellent work. It's the most multicultural nail and spa place that I've ever been to in all 42 years of my life. And everybody gets along, speaks different languages, kind to one another, excellent service, feel welcomed. And there was I'm trying not to be too specific, but no, I'm going to say it. There was a black chick that came in a few weeks ago, or days ago. I'm sorry, when this is being taped, just a couple of days ago. This is Monday. Today is Thursday. Well, Friday. And she comes in and says that the place was racist because she did not have an appointment. Nowhere do they say walk-ins welcome. And she wanted to be seen in that moment, again, without an appointment, and nowhere posted does it say walk-ins welcome. And they said, yeah, could you come back tomorrow because we just don't have anyone to work on you. This individual goes and puts a negative Yelp and Google review, and then they blame it on their blackness. They don't serve black clients. She's telling me this, my good friend Diane is telling me this as me and another black client are getting our nails done yesterday, and we were having an amazing conversation, and she and I did not know each other. We were just learning each other there that day. And we're both regulars, But it was just so disheartening to see that when someone doesn't like something, they won't just say what happened. They'll instead try to make a mountain out of a molehill and turn it into a racial discrimination thing when that's not even the case. It's very unfortunate that, again, if this episode is all about sometimes just learning who you are and you revealing yourself to yourself, I just want you guys to know weaponizing your voice on Yelp, on Google review, on any of those things is really corny. It's so negative and corny that it's like saddening. Like, I feel embarrassed for you at how that makes you look. And what I know and what we talked about yesterday, the cream will always rise to the top. So I'm not worried about my girl and her establishment. But again, all situations in life are an opportunity to look in the mirror. And I just want y'all to make sure you're never the person that's corny enough to take one experience, one individualized, isolated experience, and blow it into an entire, vendetta against a business, a person, whatever, because in a moment, something didn't happen the way that you wanted to see it. I really, really need you guys to hear how unfortunate that really and truly is. And I would just pray that you are better and you do better. To that woman who left that really stupid comment, be better and do better. Love a Black woman, a Black, happy, faithful client who always makes appointments at an amazing salon and spa called Pristine Nails and Spa. And one of our last pay your dues, I am TJ Wilkins, just put out another beautiful project called Spring Will Never Be the Same. So you have some homework. Rapsody put out Please Don't Cry, as well as, and it's Rapsody, Rapsody, not spelled the traditional way. TJ, the man of the lounge, my fiance, is at I am TJ Wilkins on Instagram and across your socials. Spring Will Never Be the Same. Please pick up both of those things. Last, never least, at RAISEITUPWY across socials. At Raise It Up Y is where you'll be able to get notified about anytime I open a love lounge, aka go live on my social media spaces, everywhere from YouTube to Instagram and any other new platforms that arise. It's where you'll be able to connect to other people who are loving and learning and laughing and love like you, listening to this podcast. And there are some new things on the horizon coming up, especially if you live in LA. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Some dope brand collaborations coming up and showing out for us. Ladies and gentlemen of love culture, however you identify, thank you for your non-refundable time and energy. I crazy appreciate listening to all this hip hop and rap stuff, but even beyond that, being able to take the gems that are left in these lessons for each of you. It's not about the big three. It is about big me. Please pay attention to yourself. Don't go to your grave a mystery. And as always, stay real, y'all. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up.